Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great edition of the WSE Lounge. I am your host, Brian. At this time, without any further ado, I want to welcome my two guests at this time. First of all, I want to welcome actor of Empire. You know him from Empire on Fox. He plays Shine's goon enforcer, Charles D. Clark. Welcome to the show, Charles. Thank you, sir, and it's an honor to have you on. And ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I want to also welcome director, producer, George Dibble.
Hey, thank you, Brian. Thank you, WSE.
You're very welcome, sir. It's an honor to have you both on. I want to let all you great fans out there know that the reason there's not a title at the top of this is I pressed a button when I went to go live, and some reason the title disappeared, but I will put the title back up once the interview's over of who's on the show. And I'm going to put down in the description of who is on the show so you great fans will know. Actor from Empire, Charles D. Clark. And, let's see here. And producer, director, give me just a second, guys. Producer, director, George Dibble. And questions and comments, you can leave them below. And I'll be glad to answer any comments or questions that you may have. I mean, they will be glad to answer any questions or comments you may have, not me. Oh, me. So, how did you get into, first of all, how did you get into acting, Charles? I mean, when did you know you wanted to be an actor?
Well, growing up, I did several school plays, but as everybody knows, part of my testimony, I went to prison, gang bangers, real deal, real good enforcer, in the streets from the West Coast to the East Coast. I served 8 years in prison, and my grandmother only visited me once because she couldn't stand to see me behind such a devastating place. So she came to visit me, which was my last time traveling. She
Mm-hmm.
and she thinks that this prison yard is a military base. And she's going to visit you, the military base. So she said you have to act like your dad for this whole 2.5 hours. And it was one of those painful experiences that I endured. But through it all, my grandma sacrificed her last days of fame to let me know what my purpose was, which was acting.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It seems like you went through a lot.
I've been through my share of turmoil, growing up. The thing about it is, we go through days in life to discover other things, and it's from point A to point Z,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. And as I tell everybody, there's no one word in the alphabet. So we go through many of changes in life through our journey to finally discover who we really are, and you never know who you are until you go through something that you've never been up against before. I call it the giant spectrum of our life. So, I've seen a lot. I've seen, things that most people can only imagine, or honestly they might see in movies. But, when God gives you another chance in life, and you discover who you are, and you continue to be a better person, then things usually fall in place. And then, of course, meeting people like my brother George here, it reminds you that everything that you did wasn't in vain. Everything that you did, it wasn't so much of a regret, because if I had to go through those things, if I didn't endure those revelations that God put in my life, then I would try for those things that I thought was a punishment, but ended up being wisdom. And I would never meet people I enjoy with it, and being doing the things I'm doing thus far for the past 9 years as a professional actor.
Well, I agree with you on that. You have to be in one's shoes before you can actually know what they're going through, or what they're seeing, or what they're facing. And I know you went through a rough time. You said with drugs and everything, and being given second chances at life is a wonderful thing, because I've been given chances at life by the good Lord. It was probably I guess I've been given multiple chances, I guess, because I've had a lot of heart surgery and stuff, and by the grace of God, I made it through. And every time I've done this show, I always try to give God all the credit. And because I know that without God we would be nothing. And so you just got to, like you said, you got to give God the credit and everything, and you got to realize how you got a second chance and everything, at life and everything, But I did have a question for you. I was wondering, on Empire, who come up with the name Shine's Goon Enforcer?
Well, it's not specifically a name. It's a feature reoccurring role. Of course, Empire created Sean's name based on, because that's what his whole personal aura was. He liked to shine on anything he did, whether it was music, whether it was street stuff. This was personal. So that's why they named him Shine. I didn't have no character name, but I was highly featured so much until, everyone said, well, that's Shine's main goal. I mean, most of the time when you see Shine, you saw me. It's like anything else. I was his enforcer. If there's something to be done, if there was something to do with the Lions, if there was something to do with the street, I was most likely the guy that he would come to who was close to him. So, a goon enforcer don't particularly have a name. You just know that if you see someone like me, it's going to be a very bad day. So to speak. And that's the way it's portrayed. That's another thing too, is how, my testimony is very relevant to my
Mm-hmm.
It makes it authentic for me when I audition or get roles. So, you know, it's one of those things to where I'm not really acting. Part of me actually lives that lifestyle in a lot of ways. You know, but again, neither there or no. The thing about it is that being an actor, at the end of the day, is not about the acting themselves. It's about the filmmaker, the director, the producer, the whole production. If they're not on a balanced scale of delivering what the audience wants to see, their vision, then we as actors can't do our job. And you know, I can talk about me all day about the awards that I've won and the things that I've done, but you know, it's people like George that deserve the credit. We actors always say, well, look at us. So God gets the credit for it. We give God the glory.
Mm-hmm.
But we have someone like George who does the editing and helps make sure that the writing for the script is delivered properly for the actors, to make sure the atmosphere is set for us to be in our best condition for to make the scene of the fitting. We have George's wife, Candace, who runs production masterfully to make sure that George can focus on the different angles that he needs to make sure that the audience is actually captured from how it was, the most moments of a movie. That's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm just a vessel. My job as an actor, can I take direction? Can I absorb the vision of the director? Because my vision don't mean anything. My vision is only to conduct myself in a way to receive everything that the director tells me to do, and he sees through the audience eyes. And if the audience is happy, and I make the director happy, then we have a good set on TV or good screen, success.
Well, basically what you were saying is, you got to basically be on the same page, or you're not going to get anywhere. And I fixed to bring up a very good point. In professional wrestling, they have referees, and a lot of people don't give referees enough credit. And when they're in the ring, the referee is actually the main center of the story, because if the referee is not telling the two guys or two women fighting each other what's going on and stuff, or being able to tell a story of the match, then there is no match. Just like you were saying about George. George is the director, producer. If he's not able to direct and produce and to help you out, then you're not going to have a story to follow, a story direction to follow or tell the audience or anything like that. And speaking of George is in this interview too. So George, let me ask you, how did you become a director and producer?
A crazy road. I started out filming my daughter's summer videos.
Uh-huh.
Funny enough. She lives in Florida full time, and she comes to visit me every summer. So one thing I started doing is when she came to visit, I would take my GoPro and film her entire summer. And when she packed her bags to come home, fly home, I would flip a DVD in her suitcase. So when she got home and she'd open it up, there would be all of her memories from the summer. That's where my interest in video started. I started as a musician. I started playing drums when I was 9. I picked up the guitar and started singing when I was 12 or 13. So, much like many musicians and videographers, we all kind of come from the same ground. I just happened to cross over at some point. So, I'm still a musician at heart, but I love capturing stories. People like Charles and Wes and all these people in our film. I'm not an actor. I'm a director. I can capture things, I can direct people to act one way, but I can't act. These guys are phenomenal. We have guys and women. We have both. They're amazing. And, I am a firm believer, it's just like a football analogy. You can have the best quarterback in the world, but if you have no one to throw to, you have a really bad football team. So it takes an entire team to make a Super Bowl team, which I feel like we have with Volkoff. Everyone involved in this film is amazing. Like I said, Charles is a seasoned actor. He's been doing doing this for a long, long time. There's so much I lean on him for, even as a director. I'm not an actor, so if I have input or I have questions, I'm going to ask him. And so I have that benefit. But then you have people like Shannon and all of the goons that showed up that were their first time acting ever. And then on film, it looks like they've been doing it forever. You have an all-star cast when in post you can look back and go, wow, every single take is amazing. So we have that benefit.
Wow. So is Danielle Sandler also in the movie?
Yes, she is. She plays the waitress and the bar scene.
Okay. I got some questions for you coming in from fans. Ellen Duckworth Gray says, when does Volkov come out? Volkov.
So we have a private screening which sold out in less than 48 hours.
Wow.
On July 23rd.
That's incredible.
It is crazy. And we've won, I think we've won 4 awards just for our trailer alone. We've been nominated or selected in 4 or 5 other film festivals just for the trailer. So, we haven't even, I'm still working on the film, probably every day for 7 hours. June 23rd is our release date, so I've got to get it done. But nonetheless, I put it out there for us to get our feet wet, see what happens. And it's getting received very, very well. So, and like I said, that's just our trailer. So I can only imagine when our film comes out, I hope it's just as well received.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, June 23rd, we will definitely be looking for that. And got another question from Ellen. She says, and this question is for you, Charles. She says, when did Empire first air?
Let's see. I think it was 2014 or 15, I'm mistaken. I think yeah. They just scored a 6 seasons, so let me start 13. You're on 13.
Wow.
The thing about it was, I never watched Empire, honestly, until, one of my friends told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was already going at the end of season 2. And I was like, Terrence, I got to get on that.
Uh-huh.
But I thought it was just to keep going. Because they go for like, 1 hours for me. But they said, no, with it was in Chicago. Well, I'm a 14-hour drive. So, it was something better to get the for it. So I drove up there several times, 7 times. That's an extra. Never got seen on TV. That's 8 times when God stepped in and said, okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
And, the Empire family, Steve D'Amato, and Alicia Rodriguez, Sonic Emery, and,
Felicia Rodriguez. That name sounds familiar. Did she play on?
No, Carlito Rodriguez is the guy.
Oh, Clarita. Okay. I thought you said Felicia Rodriguez.
No. I didn't talk about Carlito.
Okay.
They call him the machete in Hollywood because it's right to the next star. Some of the biggest cinemas that's been produced. The one we talked to is because about a hand of skin that he have written. So yeah, he's one of the forces of the Empire. Matter of fact, him and Steve created the character design that was much needed for Empire because they wanted to bring a different spin to it. And they were supposed to have been always a cameo. But he did his job so well, they kept him. And it's sort of like the story with Leo and Brutus. Brutus was never supposed to happen. Really, it wasn't. And when there was always supposed to be like a little, sort of small featured extra. And for some reason, I don't know why, I did my research on George, I think George was supposed to be West, baseball called the West. And I was like, man, I first connected, just instantly. I said, you know what? I belong to George. I belong in this world of film. We have something that I have, his testimony, his fame. We both lost our dance. We always say that our dance test my basketball guys, we had two boys together doing a great thing. And so when I felt that in my spirit, I took it upon myself one day. I don't really drink like that, but the first guy I took some whiskey. I'm not a whiskey drinker. And I went to a parking lot there where I stayed at, and I did this paper in my car. And the sun hit my eyes so perfectly, so my eyes were falling. And I did what I thought that this character was supposed to be. And then with George and Weston about the name and how we brought it to life, a regular bartender theme became something extravagant. But all of the great facts we have, and the production, and of course West, who played phone call, it did perfectly. And then some of the franchise, a comic book series, spin-offs to the movie. I mean, we got some things coming our way. So it's just simply saying that a lot of times, when you plant a flower on the ground, you don't plant a flower, right? You plant a seed.
That's right.
So if that seed chooses to take the root of nature, then it will grow. And this is the way it is. And so, George and them gave me an opportunity, and I took it upon myself that, you know what, I gotta make this work. I gotta be more than just a guy's bar. I felt like that it needed something else. And then when George the West stepped in and said, this is what you need to do, this is how we're gonna do it, can you handle it? And it's not about my resume or work. Brutus is far beyond anything I've ever done. He's a psychopath, he's a brain killer, he has no conscience. He's one of those type of people, if he can't bring pain upon somebody, he's having a bad day. And he would get this phone call. So, as a liquid actor, I went through some very strenuous situations to prepare myself. And it worked. It worked. And I just wanted to, like I said too, when you are working with someone like George, you want to give it your best. I think when it comes to a point to where, as an actor, if we get so much caught up in just who we are from character, then you will never deliver properly because, with me, I'm a type of actor that I'm very vulnerable to a director. And I think that's very important in a professional actor. If you're not vulnerable, then you can't take yourself direction. It's impossible. I have to be a stud. And I can't say this enough. Being a part of phone calls, being a part of this whole new legacy of cinema, it's mind-blowing. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful, and it's very it elates me in so many ways that I can sit up here and say, wow, I actually fought it all. But again, there's no I in G. It's all no. George and West, the cast, from Shannon, to Lisa, to Chris, to Justin, to me, all that line. To care about the ball, to George, Queen, his wife, Candace, that she represents that massive aggressive. That's what ever happened. But first and foremost, God orchestrated all of this. Just like what you were doing. But the reason why that you're still here is not because by the blood of you, by the blood of God, by forgotten blood. So your heartbeat can't stop. That's why you're still here. And I also understand that I think the world feels better place. We use our platform to very inspire people. Me and Joyce always talk about, we want to hire people who don't thought they have a chance. We want to hire the homeless people, to do a production. There's so many people who are eager to learn. Because you have all the talent in the world. Talent will get you inside the door, but ultimately, your personality, your attitude, will take who you are and keeps you in the room. So.
Well, that was a long answer, but you got it out there pretty good, and you're right. It is all about attitude, and it's about giving God the glory and everything, and because if you got a stuck up attitude or an ego, then you're not going to get anywhere in this business, So,
Well, that's true.
yeah.
And I apologize for asking being long. The reason why it was just a little bit of time and I was just quick. If someone asked me right there, what do you get acting? I can easily say, that's part of the camera, know your lines. Fact, and that's it. But there's a lot to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's like what you do on Frisco, whatever you're doing, you know, other than your platform, the other thing that you can do it. There's no one way to show them. When you're a guy of greatness, there's no one show them. Short answers for people, you know, people that have really a limited vision. But when you're doing greatness, there's no limit. So that's one of the reasons why I'm right here in your show. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I got another question. I'll tell you what, Ellen Duckworth Gray, I guess, is one of your biggest fans because there's a whole line of questions, and there's also other questions coming in too from other people. So I'm going to get to them. Her next question says, "What is it like working with the characters Cookie and Luscious?"
Well, and I keep this short. Terrence and Taraji played Cookie and Lion. I mean, I remind me of working up the boat. House of Flow was a premonition of Empire. They did on a different scale. What would do is like, what would you? What would do it? I never could have been talked about. I respect their work. They're like family to me, but I never get too much to where, oh my God, and this and that. Of course, I was happy to see them for the first time. And
Yeah.
I admired them. But I tell people, when people ask me about Cookie and Lucius or Terrence Taraji, I always tell them it's the honest truth. I'm so confident what I'm doing, I'm not too much to what they're doing. But I will say this, they are the most humble and the most fun people to hang around. Like they are down to earth, they have your back all the way, like any fact. If you don't do your job, you better be ready for the situation. And not play no game.
Wow. She says, "Will Cookie and Luscious end their relationship in the season finale?"
Well, there's two answers to that. Lions never separate. You've seen those diabolical situations, franchise, they always come back. Number two, I don't even do the show since 6 weeks before. I might be back on 6, I don't know, but if I did know, I can't share it. So then, you know.
I understand that completely. There's certain stuff that when you sign a contract with any acting company or whatever, and you're any platform, there's certain stuff in the contract that you're not allowed to discuss because you could get in trouble or sued, and I wouldn't want that. So that would be awful. Rumor has it that this is the last season. Is that true? I don't think you can answer that, can you?
Well, no, there's a lot of rumor. I mean,
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. This is the last season, which is a great thing too, because you know the syndication process. I mean, when you do seasons on television, you do it strictly for syndication, so you can pick the rest of the life. So with the number of episodes that they already done, they made out syndication and they'll be good, you know. So yeah, season 6 is the final finale for Empire, and you know Star got canceled, so we just reminisce on the good times and what's left and make it a very memorable situation.
Okay, and I want to give a shout out right now to Cass Marie, who is watching. And Ellen says, "Is Andre leaving Empire?"
Again, if I did, no, I could say
Okay. Okay.
But based on, I mean, think about it. I mean, Kingsley killed himself. Andre got the heart. Andre's gonna be okay. If you look at Empire's storyline, it could be almost so close, real close. So a lion would never die. That's the way it is. And Kingsley wasn't really considered a lion, even though Lucius was supposed to be his dad, but Andre ain't going nowhere. I mean, from what I assume. But again, Hopefully not.
Okay, and she says, honestly, I haven't watched your show till I found out you were going to be on Brian's show, which is the WSE Lounge that you're on now. So I started watching and couldn't stop. I binge watched 3 seasons. I'm hooked, and now I'm a big fan. Great show.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's amazing. See, you get you spread the word, and you just have new fans out there coming in. It's amazing. She also says, can you tell me if I don't know if you can say this or not, but she says, can you tell me if Luscious is Lola's father?
Lola. I don't believe so. There's no line. They never really said concrete. If it was speculation, but no. Mr. Sterling, I don't believe so. I think he just did that because of Jamal's situation in the next storyline, but no, I don't think so.
Okay, and I've got 3 more questions from Ellen. She says, who is Empire based on? That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, but Empire is based on everybody behind the scenes of the media. A lot of people say it was based on, updates, behind the scenes film and almost of the urban hip hop community or pop rock or whatever. But it's what goes behind the media. A lot of people, this family, they go to these places, so, maybe a bisexual son or, kid that's 4 or 5, and they'll get to learn to be a man or someone who has a mental, issue, and he has to compromise certain things in order to get in. I think it goes behind the scenes of everything. So that Empire is based on everyday life behind the mega VIPs of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Lucius and Cookie was on stage with the balls and, Hakeem's everywhere. So Empire is taking those little stories and just being transparent through the show.
Okay, and she says, who wrote Empire?
In short, had the idea, not Lee Daniels, and Empire supposed to have been a movie. And Lee Daniels like, no, it's not good TV stuff because the storyline, thing was too good to be a one-time thing. So they at least stepped in the writing and then the force behind their Empire writers and took from there. So based on things that Lee Daniels experienced in the industry, maybe with Dennis showing, how to build an experience in the industry, and then collectively, we bring people like Taraji and Barrett, at first. Taraji was the original character, the first character created, and it was going through a bunch of people to play Lucius.
Mm-hmm.
Taraji said unless Barrett came on as Lucius, she wasn't going to do it. And so that's what you call loyalty, great friendship, and it went on from there.
Okay, her last question, have you been in any other movies?
I've been in a lot. I like coming out. Well, as we discussed phone call, one of my biggest masterpieces on my resume, but got several things coming out. One, Develop a Wife on the Big Screen, No Suffer. We have another Big Screen movie. So we had 2 Big Screen movies coming out. I can't mention them right now.
Uh-huh.
I did another movie called A Wheel with a Key, which is an indie film that's coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And several TV shows. Most of my TV shows platforms come from TV One, true crime shows. I do a lot of ID kind of shows. So, yeah, I mean, it's all my name, Charles C. Park. Everything you want to know about me, what I've done, what I'm doing there, but it's on the IMDb. It's like basically the best material of every act college. Charles C. Park. Everything right there.
Okay, she also says, is your book available now?
Is my what now?
Your book available now?
I was working on a book, but that's not a book that's available for me for the public. I am working on one actually.
Okay, and I got a question for you. What's it like working on? Because I've actually never watched this show. Because this is not the. I don't think this is not the House of Lies show, but I know George mentioned this show to me that you were on. House of Cards. What was it like for you being on House of Cards?
House of Cards was phenomenal. I mean, it was the big show that was on in the Philly area.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got my step out the game. Eligible for SAG, got my SAG card. It was phenomenal. Of course, we all know about Kevin Spacey's weight. I'm not too much concerned about that. I mean, it's not none of my, business or that mirror deep. I just know what for Kevin for House of Cards. He was very professional. We spoke briefly, maybe talked brief one time. So, hi, how you doing? Great day. Outside weather looks pretty good. Thanks for being here. Nothing, no more conversation. Kevin was going to his iPod and his laptop and, do what he do. So, but him, Robin, I mean, everybody was just phenomenal. One thing I can family, one of the closest families of the DMV film industry, other than the music. So yeah, House of Cards was awesome.
Okay, and you were also on you were also in the TV series. You were in one episode of the TV series Homeland. What was that like?
Well, actually, too. Actually, today called me back to the place. Someone looked at something and said, but it was pretty good. I was pretty sick of service. It was a very service. Homeland sort of like House of Cards. It wasn't in depth like House of Cards. House of Cards was more dramatic, of course. But it was good. Every step that I'm on, everything that I do, I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it, and I learn something about it. Every day is a different experience, for the most part. But as I said before, being on the set of phone call, the most recent thing, what we're doing is right now is one of the top bands I've been on. Empire, and also 5-3 Milwaukee, down to Kim Zawasti and Steve Curtis, to give my first expo with Led TV on the ID channel. But being in my brother on this phone, doing Dibble, a lot of the questions as far as this industry on the director side definitely should be towards them because like I said before, it's not about me, it's about him as well. Doing that, figure for the these masterpieces, not only that's a film, but and me as well. And that right there, you have to understand something. We have a director that's that versatile. Think about it. What movie have you seen that didn't have a soundtrack? So if George is a master in music and film, that's a high honor. He edits, he produces, he does it all. So again, we need to recognize more people like George Dibble. Charles did part in who I am, but again, director, filmmaker, George Dibble. Forget us as actors for one moment. I want to give George Dibble the light he deserves. He's very humble behind the scenes, but I refuse to let him be about Charles. He's not about me. He's not first. But this lady on the phone, George Dibble, this is the guy that he recognized for his hard work. Again, without him, there will be no Charles Park. Without our director, Steven Spielberg, there would be no Harrison Ford, and so forth. So let's definitely recognize our filmmakers, our directors, who do the hard work when they're not with their families because they're this innocent and process the whole franchise for the movie TV show, or when they have long days and long nights, mentally strained to make sure that the cinema or what we're doing is perfected. So, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for all that you do.
Okay, George, I want to ask you a question about something.
Sure.
Now I've always wondered this, and since this is a PG show, I'm going to keep this PG. But I've always wondered this when it comes to television shows or movies or that are on television. Whenever whenever like somebody is in real life, whenever they're married, and whenever the storyline calls for another for a woman and a man to be in a relationship together, in real life, does the people that are married, do they get upset looking at the television set and seeing them in a relationship together, or not?
That's hard for me to answer because my wife is, she runs production, so she's not acting, and for me, I don't want her to be someone else.
Uh-huh.
I can imagine. I mean, as an actor, being a director and directing and helping write scripts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to develop a character and portray them in a certain scene, actors have to be very, very open to the role they play.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can't speak for them myself, but I can only imagine, some scenes can get very steamy at times, and I can only imagine the inner turmoil that goes on.
Okay.
Them, if they're doing something steamy.
Yeah. Well, I've just always wondered that because I thought I'd ask because I know you're a director, so I thought you might know. So, but.
The scripts are out there well in advance, so I think that if there's something that may go beyond somebody's comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
And they are married or engaged or in a relationship, that's something they probably discuss with their better half well before they get on set. So.
Okay.
Hopefully that's worked out before that happens.
I hope so. Another question I had for you, and I've often wondered this. Do you ever because Charles was talking earlier about you can't let your character go to your head. You got to be who you are. So do you ever have dreams about directing and acting and all that, or you don't have that?
Every night.
Oh, wow.
That story goes through my mind. Between what Charles and I are writing, and Wes and I are writing, and other stuff. I mean, there's so much going on behind the scenes. Volkov is still in post production, and I think we're probably 3/4 of the way through the follow-up film already being written. So I mean, you go to sleep every night, and things just start racing. Your ideas, being an actor and being a director and being a writer and musician is a very creative role. So,
Mm-hmm.
So when you think you have downtime and you're going to bed, your mind is still working. So that's the perfect time for your mind to start creating. When you are sitting down for dinner or you're at work or something, your mind has an opportunity to have this space to think and to write. So yeah, many times I wake up and I just jot down ideas, a sentence, or two sentences, or a paragraph, or
Mm-hmm.
Grab my iPhone and hit that record button audio and just shout into it, and whatever I have on my mind, it's recorded. It's there for me to reference in future time. So yeah, it's constant. You have to be. It's a dog eat dog world, and everything you do is day-to-day life. You're not a director, you're not a musician. You go to work every day. You're competing with a coworker. For the same job. It doesn't matter what you do. You're always competing with something. So to be competitive, to be at forefront of anything you do, you have to always be moving, always be thinking. So yeah, it's always on our mind.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with director-producer George Dibble and actor Charles D. Clark. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know that Kristen performs on Sundays now, but this coming Sunday, if you're looking to go to the Marvelous Wonderettes, she will not be there because she is currently at the soap fan cruise with some other soap opera stars, and that is taking place in Florida. If you haven't got your tickets, be sure and get your tickets. It's on a cruise ship. Gonna be a lot of fun for the fans, so go and check that out. But you can also use that code to get 40% off when she returns to the Marvelous Wonderettes in June. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with producer, director George Dibble and actor Charles D. Clark. And George, I've got quite a few more questions for you. I was wondering now, with you being a director, because I know that's a tougher job than a lot of people know. But with you being a director, what do you do in a situation to when you're directing a television show or movie and your top star tells you that they quit? What do you do?
That's a hard one. Usually, by that time, you've got contracts in place. So, I mean, it's kind of hard for someone to just walk off set. You've got NDAs and all that. Someone walking off set can literally shut down production. So, that's why all legality formalities are in place. But I've luckily never experienced that. Probably worst case scenario. Absolutely worst case scenario.
Okay. Now, you mentioned contracts. So what happens if, say for instance, an actor or actress sign a contract with you, they're under contract, and they all of a sudden decide to quit, and in the contract it says they can't walk off set, but they refuse to come back to work? Do they get fined? Do they get sued, or do they get in trouble for breaching the contract, or how's that work?
Typically that's a breach of contract. That's handled by attorneys and all that stuff is in the background. There are certain situations where things happen in the public eye. Just like Empire with Jesse. Unfortunately, that happened during filming, and that's why there are contracts in place. They need to keep moving forward with production. And if those things happen, typically that kind of show, they'll kill them off. Something will happen, or they'll just kind of disappear throughout the story, and they have those stories written already. So they can just interject a storyline, and if something happens. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't know about. You think of a story as just this A-B thing. There's literally A to Z written out before, because you need to have your ducks in a row and covered just in case something happens.
Well, let me give a shout out. Carrie Miller, thank you so much for watching. Carrie, I know exactly what you're talking about, because there's a lot of stuff that even with this show, I've been hosting this show since 2014. I'm gonna be doing my last show will be on the 21st as the host, and then my friend that I've known since 6th grade, he'll be stepping in as a new host. But there's a lot of people that don't know the things that go on like behind the scenes of the show, because you have to talk to agents, you have to reach out to people through emails, and you have to try and get them booked and promote and all that stuff, and it's really a lot of stress, and another thing that people don't realize, they just think, oh, there's a show booked, I'll go watch, he sits there, he interviews people, I have fun. But the thing is, from a fan's perspective, that's awesome, that's awesome, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But when it's your perspective, like with you as directing, or me as, hosting this show, it gets very complicated. Because I remember one time, I never will forget this. I'm not going to mention any names, but I remember one time I had spoken with an agent, and there was two major soap opera stars from different soap operas that, that were scheduled to come on show. Okay, so I speak all day with the agent, and I start that morning, and it goes all the way through that night. So we've talked it over. We got an agreement. They're coming on. I get the poster ready. I get everything made. Right when my finger, and I kid you not, George and Charles, right when my finger gets ready to click on the publish button to publish the poster, I get an email from the agent. She says, "Sorry, they can't be on the show. Can't do it." I said, "What?" And I said, "What happened?" Said, I don't know. They're not available, and they won't be anytime soon. I said, "Okay." So that was out the door, So, I mean, that's what kind of stuff that you go through. I mean, and
yeah, I mean, we were on an interview last night, and like I mentioned to you before you got on the show, Brian, that Charles has been on set for
yes, sir.
For, I don't know, 7 days for 16 hours. So trying to get him to step away even for 10 minutes was hard. So it's they're very long days, and when you think you step away and go grab something to eat, you call back real quick. You never know what's going on set. So you really got to stand by and wait for you to be called. So Charles can speak more to that. Again, he's an actor, and he experiences more than that than I do. So.
Well, I've got a comment from Ellen for both of y'all. I would love to see you guys film a show in person. That would be awesome.
Like a live show?
Yeah. I guess similar to how The Walking Dead films down here in Georgia.
Yeah. Georgia is a great state. Matt, things that Georgia's done for the film industry is amazing. I think DC, we're all from Northern Virginia, right outside Washington D.C. So, a lot of companies want to shoot over here for obvious reasons. It's the nation's capital and the White House and tons of scenery and stuff. So Georgia has an amazing allure for film enthusiasts. So, your state has done great things for the industry.
Yeah, yes, they have, and I'm guessing that's where y'all's show is filmed, because she says, "Where is the show filmed?" I guess it's filmed in Washington.
Yeah, that's kind of throughout the state of Virginia and D.C. Actually, our trailer teaser shot in October last year. We shot at the Exorcist steps in Washington D.C. That's actually where the final scene, or one of the final scenes in the movie The Exorcist, was shot. So we've been kind of all over Virginia and D.C. shooting. So we've had the pleasure of a lot of people donating or giving up their land or their houses, their property they own, which is awesome. Trying to acquire those kind of things can be very, very costly. So, we're blessed to know people and to have that opportunity to shoot on people's property in their houses or what may use. So, we're blessed to have these people in our production.
Now, I wanna ask both of y'all a question. I know that Danielle Sandler is in the movie with y'all, Volkloff. I was wondering, because she's very good friends with this person, and I'm good friends with this person. He's been in a lot of different movies as well. Do y'all by any chance know Papa Stroh?
Ring the bell. It doesn't.
He's a professional wrestler. Used to work for WCW. He's been in a lot of horror flicks. He was in a movie with Danielle a while back. His name is Rob Kellam.
Kind of rings a bell.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought I would ask, because I wasn't sure. So,
we have a few wrestlers in our film.
oh, do you? Who do you have?
We got TJ Mathis. Who are the other guys on the Goons? Andy. Andy. Matt. Yes, Matt Reimer. Yep.
Wow.
We got a boxer sticking away.
Now, who's a professional boxer?
Jimmy Lang, I believe was his name. Jimmy Lang was. Yeah, Jimmy Lang. He's worldwide. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
I believe his last name is spelled Lange.
Lange. Okay. Now, I wanted to know now. You're a director and a producer, George. Have you ever? I'm sure you have, but I'm just curious. What is it like being a producer and a director at the same time of a show?
Well, when you add in audio guy, editor, father, and full-time job on top of it, husband, it becomes pretty crazy. But we do what we love. It's not for the money, it's not for the fame. We go out and we film, and I mean, Volkov was literally shot over dead winter. Most of our, probably 90% of our locations, we were probably in 10-degree, 0-degree weather. Me as a director, I can wear gloves and a hat and a jacket, but whatever the scene calls for the actors, if it's short sleeve shirt, they've got to stand there in that weather for 16 hours, and when I say cut, they've got to run over and put a blanket on and warm up and then go right back to it. So, that's about it.
Okay, now, as a director of a movie or a television show, how do you go about filming the unrealistic? And what I mean by that, like if you have scheduled into your scenes for a dramatic hurricane or tornado event to take place, how do you go about filming that?
That's a loaded question. That can go many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bigger productions. You're talking hurricanes or like The Perfect Storm, the movie The Perfect Storm. A lot of that was shot. The bigger ocean scenes where they're in the boat. That's all shot on set with green screen. So your bigger productions usually are in a massive warehouse. Everything's built out from the ground up, and you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars of crew and cast and building materials and green screen and all that good stuff. When you get down to the indie level, you wait for a big storm to come along and you shoot the big storm. All joking aside, it's hard to answer that question because everything's different. With the stuff that we're shooting for Volkov, every director, every movie is different. So you have your hack and slash movies like Friday the 13th or Michael Myers or Freddy, where the people who are watching it love the cuts and the flash and the blood and the gore.
Yeah.
Where our movie, it starts to get to that point, but I'm more of a mind thought process director where we get to a point, but I want your mind to literally tell the story for you rather than show it to you on screen. So it's more of a psychological thriller than a visual thriller. I like my audience thinking rather than just hack and slash, which is there's nothing wrong with that because I love Friday the 13th and Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger. It's a huge market for that, and I love it. But for the films I write, I'm more of a methodical thinking kind of. If I'm going to write a suspense, I want you to think about what's happening next rather than see it.
So what is the tornado like on the set? What is the tornado made out of?
I've never created a tornado.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably a lot of wind machines and dust and
Uh-huh.
people up on scaffolding dropping material into the set. So yeah, I mean, that's Twister's probably a very good example of what to look into behind the scenes. I mean, that's a huge production, but you know, they had to mimic literally a tornado the entire movie. So.
Now, for instance, another question for you, like if somebody, like if in the set, they're on a train, and there's supposed to be like a jungle around them with animals or whatever, like in the safari. How do you go about creating that? Do you literally go to a zoo somewhere that has that, or you don't?
As a filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
your number one go-to is real life, at least for me. You know, you can make it look real because it is real. It comes off more believable.
Uh-huh.
The more make-believe, it becomes more After Effects and 3D modeling. And like I said, green screen is a huge thing in the industry where the people are building warehouses. Literally, you're trying to build a zoo. What if there's no zoo near you? Then you've got to recreate a zoo in a warehouse situation. So, a good example in Volkov. My youngest son actually plays young Volkov, and
Cool.
And he's 10 years old. So our older versions of Volkov can wear contacts. Well, I don't exactly want my 10-year-old son popping in contacts is probably not healthy for him. Or
No, I don't think so.
For a 10-year-old, trying to portray him with the eyes that Volkov has,
Mm-hmm.
you have to do that in After Effects, which is adding the effects after you've shot it. So it's a perfect example of the things you got to do. So again, if I could have him wear contacts, it's much better because it looks real, because it is real.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, it's being shot on scene. It's true to what's coming through the lens rather than in post you're recreating something because people pick up on things that are fake. So.
Okay, and so who is it that plays Volkov?
That is Wes Lee. He is the co-writer. Steve James wrote kind of the bare bones
Mm-hmm.
structure of the story. He presented it to Wes. Wes kind of took it and kind of holed himself up in his house and wrote for about 6 to 7 months. And he presented the story to me last fall. And he's the one who kind of is the brainchild behind everything. He's a great actor, a great writer, huge contributor to the entire film. He's been on the ID channel. I think that's actually how Wes and Charles met. Wes actually talked to Charles and brought Charles on.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Charles got in, Charles and I are like brothers now. You come over, we eat dinner together, and we hang out like, films don't exist. So it's an incredible world where, you can meet new people and become best friends with them through a platform like film.
Now Ellen says, love the show. I'll probably be up all weekend catching up. LOL. So she's talking about Empire. And she also says, I'll tell you what, Charles, you got a big fan. She says, Washington isn't too far now. How do I get tickets? No, to where y'all film Empire.
There's no tickets to Empire. I want you to get easy. No, that's a closed set. Always Chicago. That's Chicago, but that's what they tell me there. Chicago is so space. So unless you get a proper fight someone or whatever, you know, they're very close to that, like it's years or whatever. Sometimes they come to different, like, you know, like all the have the little stop stores, whatever, so sometimes everybody comes to a video venue or, you know, a venue in certain states or areas or whatever, and you can meet the cats up there again, but other than that, you don't get those tickets. I mean, it's not a concert. Not a concert or you know, Broadway show, I mean, a TV show, so.
Yeah.
Unless you're and it's not a TV show where it requires an audience, a live audience. You know, so yeah.
Okay. Special shout out to Judy Witt. Thanks for watching. And country music singer Morgan Riley. Thanks for watching. And Morgan just released her newest song. It's on YouTube. And she's a past guest of the show, so thanks for watching, Morgan. Do what now?
I said, awesome. We'll have to check that out.
Oh yeah. You have to check that out, most definitely. So do you ever see yourself, Charles, being in any of Tyler Perry's movies? You there? Hello? Uh-oh. Charles, George, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, Tyler Perry. I actually did a little role. I was a detective on from what's the name of the show? It's it wasn't really long. It was a show for the younger people. It's just a long show. It was like a little quick thing, you know. I was in the area. I didn't do that with the area that master. She was a detective to lock in one of the main stars. She didn't show up. They contacted me. So it was a real first call last of the day. But for me, honestly, I don't mind working with, you know, maybe people to stick name. I'm more so looking for people like George. George is a big name. I'll start with something fresh. I mean, Tyler Perry brings it forth. I mean, he's a phenomenal filmmaker, writer. And as you can see, when he first started filmmaking, takes around in his circle, you know, whatever, and the great, you know, TV and movies that he even played for, where that's his basic started from, the stage play, but the money has to be right. Of course, I guess I'm passionate, but, you know, I got an 8-year-old daughter to take care of with my baby, so they bark. Love her very much. Actually, she's with me right now. And the story has to be right. Because something comes to a point where if I can't deliver a role, I'm about to fill that role or pull a test to it, I'm not going to take it because I don't want to give a bad performance. So if Tyler Perry has something, I'm not going to totally take it to Tyler Perry. I'm going to take it because, one, the money is right, the offer is right, and two, I'm not going to deliver that role. Because every role is not for everybody, and that's what makes you a person between a professional actor and actor. A regular actor would take any role just because. Maybe for fame or so-called fame, so to speak, or just to say, hey, I got a role. That's not a professional actor. Professional actor does take the role in order to say, you know what, this is a part of me that I know I can bring out to the best people. So when they see this role, they will see this character as written and not me playing the role. The whole point of acting is so that you're not acting. So, again, it could be Tyler Perry, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, you know, Jordan, you know, Phil, whatever. I mean, if the script is right, the money is right, I go to God about it. I'm on it.
Okay, yeah, I thought for a second when I mentioned when I mentioned Tyler Perry, I thought, uh-oh, because you know, the phone went silent. So I thought I'd mentioned the wrong person.
Oh, no. Tyler Perry, he's a phenomenal. I mean, look at his work. I mean, that's not even a discussion. I mean, he's amazing. You know, and he has a lot of life story, his storyline.
Yeah.
You know, and some people are too. Again, if a person don't, you know, I know people, you know, on a religion-based thing in Hollywood, but if a person who don't love God or serve God, I'm not gonna work with them. I can't. If I know for a fact that you don't like God, love God, serve God, I don't care who you are. You talk to a flame of dollar, I'm not gonna do it. I would never come off close to the devil. Never do that. In Hollywood, and that's big, so let's be careful. In Hollywood, so put directors you can do and filmmakers, they have sold their soul in order to get their riches here on earth rather than heaven. So, you know.
You know, that's exactly right, and I'm gonna bring up a good point. You know, you was talking about if you don't serve God, you know you're not gonna do it, and sell your soul to the devil. You know, before I began this show, I was actually a co-host on another show, and when I was on that show, they did a lot of cussing and stuff, and I didn't go along with that, and so I asked the co-host one day, which was my boss at the time, but I asked him. I said, listen, I said, why you gotta cuss like that? And I said, oh, we just do it and stuff, and so they told me, I said, you know, why don't you have it more like God and stuff? Well, they told me, the person told me, said, this show's not going to be about God. And I said, I quit, you know. And so I left there, and then I made my own show. This started out as Soap Mania, then it became the Wrestling Lounge, and then it became what it is today, the WSE Lounge. And, you know, I've always been about having a family show without, you know, cussing and, you know, all the other stuff. And also, another thing I tell people is I have a reputation to maintain on the show, because I not only interview adults, but I interview child stars as well that are actors and actresses. And if their parents, you know, saw me on here and there was some kind of obscene language or whatever, they would say, well, you know, my child's not coming on your show, you know, and I would perfectly agree, you know. So that's why this show is PG. That's why it's family oriented, and that's why it's going to stay family oriented, you know. And so I'm just making a point, you know, of what you said. And Charles, I got another question for you from, I think, your top #1 fan, Ellen. She says, would you ever consider being in a soap opera?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody in their life experienced kind of thematic soap opera issues, whether it's you know, personal issues or business issues, or how you paid for it. I see soap operas every day, so yeah, I would. Yeah.
Well, you know, yesterday I actually, I'm sure you've seen the advertisement, but I had on one of the top soap opera stars in the world. He returned to the show, Mr. Maurice Bernard of General Hospital. I know you know who that is.
Yeah. And actually, it's amazing because my little name Demetrius is also the same name as the military good guy who played, I believe, all my trips.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I'm familiar with my mom. A big fan that she used to record everything, so she also school.
Uh-huh.
She'll watch stuff on the weekend. So yeah. I'm on there. Yeah. The Bohannons and yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's see, all my children and One Life to Live, they were canceled in 2011. So they had, you know, but General Hospital, you know, it's still on, and Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. And when, let's say, Prospect Parks, they tried rebooting All My Children and One Life to Live, it, you know, online, it wasn't a success, but ABC's got the rights now back to All My Children and One Life to Live, and fans are hoping one day, that they'll bring it back. Now, I will mention something to you about this. Do you know who Stephen A. Smith is?
Stephen A. Smith.
From ESPN Sports broadcaster?
Yeah, I know Stephen. Yeah, it's always go against the white guy's name. They got a debate about who's the best sports.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, did you know that Stephen does guest roles on GH as a character called Brick, and he finds out information for Sonny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're really good friends in real life, and he's a big GH fan, and he does guest appearances on there from time to time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You learn from every day. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. They say you learn something new every day, and they also say that it's a small world when you find you got a connection to somebody that somebody else knows.
Yeah. It's true. It's very true.
Well, George and Charles, do you have anything that you'd like to promote? Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've never in the history of my career seen a trailer be selected. I mean, be selected to honor, but to win that many times within less than 2 weeks. And then sold on 100 and managed some city theater within 48 hours. I mean, it speaks for itself. Our trailer is dominating the game, and we haven't even get to the film yet. So, phone call. Shout out to Wesley, West, my brother. I think it's back on TV One. West is the one, again, got much of my life to net for him. And West connected doing together. So, maybe shout out to West. I enjoy things a big piece of this. And also to George Rice Candace. I mean, behind every great man is a great woman. I'm just biggest out her. I mean, I think in this industry, we don't recognize women enough for their power, their influence. What if George can have, a wife that's as important as her? He can do his job as great to be good for us. So let's give Candace a shout out as well. Like I said, really great production and other things that's concerning the well-being and the welfare of phone call. She says hi.
Okay, you got anything, George?
Just like Charles, I would like to thank all the cast and crew. Everyone has been amazing. It's just not a film; it's a film family, and I think everyone involved feels the same. These are people that I would step away from a production and hang out with outside of the film. So these are people I truly call friends and family, all of them, every single one of them. So they're great people. We'll put them back in another film every time. So I just want to thank them, all of them.
Okay, well, I want to thank you, George, and you, Charles, for both joining the show today. And I wish you both the best of luck and everything you do.
Thank you. Likewise. I look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right in WSE Lounge. It's awesome.
Thank you, and God bless. Hope you have a great weekend.
Absolutely. You too, sir.
Okay, take care. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was producer-director George Dibble, and that was actor Charles D. Clark of Fox's Empire. We'll be back here on the WSE Lounge next week, beginning Tuesday through Thursday. I will have those show announcements up within the next hour or so. And thank you very much. We'll ignore that comment, and I'm going to let Hudson close us out.